continuation of the judicial but not justice system that you have in the country.
In the country.
Why must you ban somebody from granting interviews? You can say, don't talk about this. That's during press conference.
The first time that he went on the bail condition, they said 50 million. What made the court to reduce it to 30 million? Because it seemed that he had not been able to meet up with the 50 million bail condition and a surety with landed property.
Was he allowed to meet up with that? When someone is going out of the court, you are rearresting him. Understand me?
Okay.
When somebody is going out of the court, you are rearresting him. How can he meet up with the bail conditions? Understand?
Okay.
So for me, whoever advised Afe on this, that is a very big mistake. And mind you, it's just like a Donald Trump case. Mind you, the judge said that you shouldn't grant press interviews.
Okay.
Understand? But Donald Trump, he will leave the court and go and grant his interview and come back. Understand? Contempt is not a criminal case. So we should always differentiate all these things. And if you remember during the presidential appeal case, a woman, that's a judge was saying that we are going to counter him. Understand? That's
Okay.
A lawyer from PDP made a presentation, and a judge in the appeal court said, we are going to counter him, as if you are one of the prosecutors. So for me, I wonder how these people pass through their law school.
All right. What if Dele Farotimi decides he has a YouTube channel? What if he decides to talk about it via his YouTube channel without granting interviews, now that he's been barred from granting media interviews? Because I know normally the last time when Omoyele Sowore was detained, when he just arrived at the international airport at Murtala Mohammed right here in Lagos, immediately, that situation was resolved. He came immediately to one of the television stations for an interview. So if he cannot grant any media interview based on the court's order, which of course a couple of persons will say is the process, what about his own personal channel? Because if those things are not indicated, maybe one can go through with what is lacking there.
What I'm saying, he may be told not to talk on that issue, but you cannot bar him from talking.
Okay.
You can never bar him from talking. You can say, don't talk on this defamation case.
What if it's because of the sensitivity of the case and how viral and popular the case has become, and they know that it's a contentious one? It's a case that everybody is focusing on. It almost seems like the whole NSAS situation of 2020, where everyone is talking about it. If you enter a Kekena Pep today, if you're in the bus, even those whom you think are not literate enough to follow up with what is going on in the news is already aware of the case. So what if that is because of the sensitivity of the matter that he was barred from, any media interviews to explain himself, since the case is prominently in the court?
I say ordinarily, you don't talk about a case that is in court because it can be seen as a way of influencing judgment or decision.
Okay.
That one is granted. But you cannot bar somebody from holding press conferences. Understand?
Okay.
So do you mean if his house, God forbid, gets burnt now, and the pressman came, he will say, I was barred from holding press conferences? There should be specification of what he would do and what he will not do.
This case, as it seems, do you think it would go? You said something that somebody may win a case, somebody may get better judgment, but it doesn't mean that he gets justice. And what if that's what happens here?
Another is not going to get justice in this because the people, the masses, are with Farotimi.
All right, Mr. Peter Onosike, what if, I know everyone is attaching sentiments to this whole thing. The court is not sentimental.
Nigeria court is sentimental.
They will tell you that the courts are not sentimental.
Nigeria court is sentimental. When a judge is saying, we'll counter him, a judge does not counter a lawyer. What a judge does is to evaluate an argument.
Okay.
What a judge does is to evaluate an argument. You don't counter a lawyer. That shows you how biased, how sentimental they are.
Okay, Mr. Peter Nosike, you cannot generalize when you talk about persons and cases.
I mentioned the case. I said in the 23 presidential election
2023 presidential election.
At the appeal court,
Okay.
a woman did that.
Did that.
That shows you that he came with a made-up mind
A preconceived notion.
that this judgment must go this way.
So you're attributing that all the judges or all the cases in Nigeria have sentimental attachments. They're not focused on the rules of procedure that has to do with giving judgments in cases?
A judge can only pass judgment based on the evidence before him or her.
Exactly.
Anything outside
That.
does not concern the judge in the court.
But your interpretation right now is that besides the evidence in front
They've
of them,
already made up their mind on how to pass the judgment before coming to the court.
so you're saying the same thing may be applied
That's
in
what
this
is
case.
happening in this case.
So you don't see any difference with the media attention, with the way a lot of people are following up the case, with how everyone is paying attention to it. You don't think that the court will be careful in ensuring that there is balance, there is justice, there is fairness in how this case proceeds?
Excuse me, if the judge, if the magistrate in this case is not biased,
Okay.
immediately Dele came in with a handcuff.
Okay.
He should have stood up and walk away because it is wrong. This is a civil case. This is a
Interesting.
civil case.
All right.
Immediately he came in with a handcuff, which he or she know that it is wrong. He will have stood up and said, no, I will not entertain this case with the accused being on handcuff. This is a civil case and not a criminal case.
All right.
He was not found with a gun.
Okay.
Then why are you putting a handcuff on him?
What if it is the security agencies who are just being overzealous? Maybe the prison wardens or the police officers, they were just being
But the
overzealous.
judge shouldn't have entertained a civil case with the suspect in a handcuff.
All right, Mr. Peter Onosike, we've actually run out of time. The reason why we took this long is, hoping that the audio would actually come through. I hope you were able to get the main gist. That is the main conversation of our news analysis segment. But at this point, we have another program coming up and we need to leave right about now. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation of the news analysis segment right here on VOP 903 FM. Mr. Peter Onosike, good afternoon and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my name is Esther Wachiko. It's a wrap on the world news at 12. But just before we go, here are the top stories. Hillary Clinton accuses Republican Party of taking orders from a mosque. We also have Dele Farotimi, currently granted 30 million naira bail barred from media interviews. President Tinubu gives urgent direction to security agencies over Ibadan Funfair tragedy. Bandits abduct over 40 residents in Maru communities, and NLC calls for suspension of Tinubu's tax reform bills. That's a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good afternoon and thank you for